Welcome, pool fans, to the 25th Annual Derby City Classic, where every year we gather here just outside of Louisville and enjoy nothing but pool for over a week. We have several hundreds of players behind me competing in 9-ball, banks, also one pocket, but in front of me is all about 10-ball, and it's all about this 5 by 10 foot Bigfoot table, 23% larger than a 9-foot table. This table separates the men from the boys. Add to that, well, it's one of the toughest fields anywhere. This is the Diamond 10-Ball Bigfoot Challenge. And are you guys ready for some high-powered pool? They're ready here at Derby City, and this is the money round. The winner of this makes it into the Final Four. And time to introduce you to the players. First up, he's the World 9-Ball Champion, back-to-back all-around Derby City champion. He's won every event here at the Derby, but this one. He's sponsored by Diamond, Talm, and Triple 60 from Moscow, Russia, but now a proud American. Let's hear it for the Ghost, FEDOR GORST. His opponent is a Predator Pro Billiards 3-time champion, 8-ball world champion runner-up, sponsored by Predator and Book Game from Poznań, Poland. Make some noise for WIKTOR Zielinski. We are lagging for the break. Ricky Bryant is our referee, and sending it up to Mark Wilson and Jeremy Jones in the Accu-Stats skybox.
We are coming to you from our home high atop the Accu-Stats arena here at the Bigfoot Challenge. Today we have world-class 10-ball, and bringing the world-class insights is the best in the business, Jeremy Jones. I'm Mark Wilson, and Jeremy, what might we be looking forward to in this match?
Yeah, two guys that are going to be battling out for many years to come, that's for sure. Both very young. Looks like Victor's won this lag after a little look at it from our referee. But, yeah, I think Fedor's going to play a steady game. Both guys are breaking the balls great. I think that match that Victor got through in the first round is going to help him here. He'll play even better. Both guys real tall and lanky, right? So maybe the biggest advantage we have as far as height in any two players we have in the event, being able to get to shots, and it should be a good one, Mark.
Well, Gorst beat Shaw, and Victor beat Corey Deuel last night. The two youngest guys in this event, 23 and 22. Gorst is the old guy.
Yeah, and we'll see, similar breaks from both. I don't think they really back off. We'll talk about Fedor's break when we get into it. Interesting what we saw in his first match, the way he was breaking the balls. That's a little more of that slappy hit I was talking about, but look at the 4-railer tightening up, Mark. So things are definitely evolving here in the Bigfoot Challenge. A little more like the Fortunsky break we saw in round 1 there. Not much pop on the cue ball at all. Now, I know you don't want to play short side on the 2, but it may be the smartest way to get on the 3 as well, with the 7 having covered up, the 10 has the corner covered up, but to be able to follow your ball below the 3 would be nice. Even though the 2 is a little more demanding of a shot, I think it's the right shot. He's done real well here. This is going to give him some type of opportunity.
Yeah, if you don't play short side, then you have to spend so much time in no man's land, traipsing around the table, hoping not to clip off of a ball wrongly. And then this way you're kind of assured of at least a pocket and likely the most short distance to get positioned on.
Yeah, you'd have to draw the ball to get on the 3, which is very difficult. He's trying to spin this with a lot of inside, trying to creep it in there. Now, one thing with Zielinski, you'll see it's a little different. When he gets down on the ball, he really has the cue moving quickly. Never used to have a pause at the cue ball, but has developed that. But it's not always there, just like right there we saw he never really settled the cue. But, he's a young man that's still working on some things.
And these two have played each other in the juniors and Euro Tour and like that, so they've got to be comfortable playing each other.
Yeah, they're two guys that really get into themselves anyways. That's why, another reason why they're so good. And why is it the greats in all the sports never have like a boring name? It's always a catchy name that you'll always remember. FEDOR GORST. You know, it's never just like Bill Smith, right?
Yeah.
Viktor Zielinski, Buddy Hall, Earl Strickland, all those great names. Efren Reyes. All right, just pay a little attention to the 6 balls all. He's going to go a little piece, so he's going to have to play a nice one here. And that's usually when you do make the mistake, when you're going by a ball, you just don't want to end up behind it. So sometimes you do put a little more into it. Now, can he kill this mark? This is where the 10-footer can help.
Yeah, I think he's got enough space, but it's still uncomfortable to play this as a slow roll shot, so he may go inside spin.
I was thinking more like dig on the cue ball, you know, like a
around.
draw. No, and try and kill it above the side there across the table and take a little cut.
Oh,
you know?
no, that's a better idea because you have a much broader position zone.
Yeah, and it's easy to do, I think, on the easier on the 10-footer, let's say. A little more space before the cue ball hits the rail.
Nice shot.
Really clean.
Oh, boy. Perfect. Well, that's the shortest route to get perfect position with least difficulty. It's all hard, but some ways make it harder. Gorst chose the simplest path.
Well, and he likes that shot. A little preference, you know, like if it was John Schmidt, I think he's the best I've seen. Maybe Efren, too, of course, at killing that ball with the draw. So, you know, you get in those situations, you will go a little more what you like versus maybe what you might consider as standard.
This looks to be just a little bit of high and just a little bit of right-hand spin. Bring it down between the 10 and back up between the 10 and 7.
Yeah, I wonder how thin it is because this may carry him towards the 9 a little bit. He may go up and down using both the short rails. We'll see. Like that. Yeah. It kind of makes you going towards the 7 versus towards the 9 with the cue ball.
I think the cut is more comfortable. Maybe you don't feel like you're going to skid or cling as much when you go a little more pace, too. So, good decision there. And clearly it was a little bit thinner than I was broadcasting.
Yeah, and, you know, they'll use the side pocket a little bit to create the angle they want because you can cheat it a little bit more at times, especially on a soft cut or a mild cut, let's say.
Very smooth, floats into position, hair perfect. Plays a great opening rack.
Yeah, that's that light stun that I was talking about with filler that really releases, and you get a lot more roll out of it than people would imagine.
And now because he's won the opening rack, he will go on to win this set 56.4% of the time.
Just a few of our
You lose the first rack of a set, it's 43.6% of the time that you will win the set.
Also, Master Shock.
That big first rack's pretty big. Really sets the tone, gets you some momentum. And in boxing, it would be kind of like who gets off first, who hits the other guy first type of thing.
Heading into rack 2, FEDOR GORST will have the break.
Well, we have good crowds here.
Yeah, and talked about the break shot. You know, what we saw in the first set with FEDOR. He was breaking just a hair off center. Say he's just a hair off to his right. And what he's trying to do is just cross the one over just a smudge where the cue ball comes left as the one kind of tracks down the center of the table towards that top rail. And what he does is he hits it with enough energy. Even though he hits it coming across a little bit, he flies the cue ball past those side pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Oh,
wow.
The ugly kiss.
Awful kiss.
Now, that's one that we really can't fault him on. He got the cue ball back there, and then just a couple balls rushed it and pushed it, forced it in. Kind of like a drunk being escorted out of a bar by security. Pushed it in the pocket, and now Zielinski comes to the table with a great opening opportunity here to win his first rack.
Yeah, the first 3 should be okay. Needs a little bit to get from the 3 to the 4. The real work starts from the 5 to the 6, I think, with the 10 being there. He's got to get pretty decent on the 5. That way he doesn't have to involve the 10 trying to get on the 7. So we'll see. This is perfect. Just a little pinch of the cue ball. We got quite a bit there, so this may get a hair off angle. You can see a little grimace in the face.
A little youthful exuberance, sometimes a little careless or reckless from experience, and I've seen this in his game. Tremendous shot maker, great at recovering from here, but that's not really where the top players want to be on this shot.
Yeah, and I think maybe the adrenaline going a little bit for the kid as well, you know. So this is the shot to where he wants to really, if he can, try and fall straight-ish. With the 9 there, the 8 there, the 7 trying to come back and forth. You don't want to have to work the ball too much. Ooh, he let up just a hair. So now let's see how he gets on this 6 mark.
If you had to compare your game at the age of 22 to Zielinski's game, where would you say, how would you start?
Oh, it wasn't even close. I mean, you know, I didn't start till 17. So, but if you look at the years played, probably, you know, not bad. I did okay.
Yeah, so you were starting to be a pretty solid pro at that point.
Yeah, I was lucky. I around a lot of great players, went on the road, you know, just got a ton of knowledge, losing a little money to these great players. And Houston was always action-packed. So, you know, you were going to learn how to win or you're going to, you know, not sleep so well. But, yeah, I mean, he won his first Euro Tour at 15, I think, or 16, the youngest ever to do it. So this is the shot I was talking about. Now he's going to have to maybe deal with a little something because he couldn't get so close to that 6.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going forward here. Even if I rub the 10, I can take a little bit of a long shot on the 7. Not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Go ahead.
Well,
Mark.
because if you dig down and power up, now you run the risk of missing a higher percentage than what you if you just flattened out.
Oh, he must have more angle than I think if he's going forward, or he's catching the 10 full if he's going forward. Oh, great shot.
Whew. And no problem on the 10-footer, and that's the thing you have to keep in mind. This is a 10-footer with 4 1/4-inch pockets that these guys never have access to practice on. That's just twice a year that they ever even play on a 10-foot table.
Yeah, well, this out here wasn't easy for sure. Got a little out of line early, but working through it, that'll do a lot for the young man. He'll be back to breaking the balls in Game 3 as well. But yeah, you know, I figure if he won a tour at what, 15 or 16,
yeah.
He probably started pretty early, 7, 6, 7, 8 years old. So the one thing about starting a little late, I've always felt, is you understand things a little too well because you're more of an adult. So like me, I understood spin pretty well quickly. Oh my goodness! He kind of just one-stroked it though. Yeah,
you just said it. No pause.
No clarification before the last stroke. But what I was going to get at is, you know, you started 18, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can understand side spin. You know, just because you're a little older, you're a little smarter, or whatnot. It may be to where it introduces you using side spin a little early. You know, before really developing center ball.
He gets away with that on the 9-footer, but the 10-footer extracts the toll if you're just a hint general to the pocket. You still have to lock it. Look at here's FEDOR right here on this shot. Look at the carry he's putting into it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knows you have to respect this shot because it's easily missed. Okay. Well, that's a damaging psychological blow to run the whole rack and then not make the routine 10 ball to cash it in. Got just a little ahead of himself and has to pay the ultimate price here of losing the game.
Yeah, and you know, if you just reflect, he worked so hard on every shot to just get down and kind of one-stroke that 10. But psychological was an issue for Zielinski at times. He's been working on it really well. He's done real well. And I guess, again, a young player, it's easy to get a little discouraged you know, at times. So we'll see how it affects him. He kind of went to his chair, you know, not too bad considering.
Right.
But
well, he's been here before. It would damage you if you're like somebody that's never played in many of these, and this is your first one, but sure he's had that happen before. But you hate to let a game slip away against the competition that's in this group.
Yeah, and you never know the pool gods on this break right here with kisses and after missing that 10.
Quality break.
Dry break though, right?
I didn't see. Let's see, 4. Yep.
Yep. So not the start after that missed 2-ball in game 1 that wasn't easy.
I'm always so engaged with the cue ball coming back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Then I miss a ball that darts in. So.
Yeah, and again, he's not really putting that pop break on him like he has that pop break as well. Again, just kind of hitting him flat.
He's looking at what he can do. Is he going to try to roll up and use the 4 and 6, get the cue ball closer? He's going to bring it back across the table. Looks like he's bringing it back across the... No, taking advantage of what he had. Economy of travel. I think there's going to be a gap, though, to at least be able to kick.
Yeah, he was trying to really wedge that 1 up underneath the 9-10 with that, kind of ugly group right there. And,
yeah.
If you get a ball in hand, you can maybe make a real good decision on breaking something out, maybe, or playing another safety. Not too much of a dog, really, to make this. A little bit, of course, but you're going to make it a hair more often, these players are, than you would think. I mean, you're obviously a dog, but I think he makes it, 15% of the time. Oh, wow. Probably the one thing he needs to really improve on, I think, is the kicking at times, but we all do, right? And he jumps so well. So, I mean, he just doesn't kick quite near as often as others.
Many people often state that they think he's the best jumper in this game, and there's a lot of good ones, so it is subjective, but nevertheless, he is fantastic at jumping balls.
Yeah, I think he just has a little more in his arsenal jumping than others do. I think others can hit their shots. Filler's incredible with it, really accurately, but he can just do a few more things. Trying to know how you develop the 5 here. What's the thought with that issue there, Mark?
Sometimes it's something like this. It looks like if you can get the cue ball close to the 5, then you can just put the cue ball, play pre-planned safety to get the cue ball stuck on the 8 and 9 and bump the 5 ahead.
Hopefully maybe open the 8-9 because the 8-9's an issue as well.
Yeah.
Somewhat. It does go on the opposite side, but once the 5 is removed.
And Jeremy always says it, and it's true, that even if you just lightly bump them, these balls just come apart. It's not hard on this cloth.
Yeah. As long as they're not on a rail, anytime they're out away from the rail, they separate pretty easily.
He's kind of got the attacking angle if he wants to go high inside, but there's so many opportunities for you to screw it up and break them up and not get a shot that it might be too aggressive to try to break these up.
No, just keep it simple. And like you said, it looks like he can roll forward if he gets right and bump the 9. I don't think he's got that. He's got to cut the 5 a hair maybe.
And which means now he can't just pin the cue ball into the 5 and 8.
What about cutting the 5 into the 8 and coming across one rail?
No, that'd be great.
You're going to have a ton of cover that way, like that.
Oh, very smart. Very smart. Now, this is really treacherous to hit, and not that the 3-foul rule would come into effect, but Gorst is on 1.
Yeah, he's going to dislodge something, though, so it won't be a 5-10 combo probably if he gives up ball in hand. But I'll tell you what, I don't think I lose a lot of accuracy here. I think I kick pretty mild. Because imagine, if you hit the 5, it's got to be on a decent side, the high side, right? The 5 kind of probably stays fairly, tucked away. And just try and clip it and get to this rail.
Yeah.
I hate to kick hard and lose accuracy here and go right into the 10 or whiff the 5. I think the soft kick is overlooked quite often. Now, of course, he could fluke something as well. What a hit. But you see, even at a firm pace, the 5 stayed, right?
Yeah, look at that turnabout.
Because if you look at it, you know, you're either going to foul or hit the good side of the 5. It's not going to be the bad side of the 5. So very good from FEDOR GORST.
Well, it looks like he might be able to catch the edge, the left edge of the 5 ball as he's looking at it. The other choice would be to rip the 10 here from kicking into the back of the 5.
Yeah, I like that. He's going to take a shot, move some balls.
And there's the 20% of the time backdoor safety that just occurs if you just make a shot that doesn't include a foul and have some velocity.
Cue ball stopped on a dime there. Solid hit on the 5.
Now it's going to be hard pinning behind balls here, so this might be the snooker safety. And knowing that you're likely going to end up worse for wear, force the Zielinski to make a safety back. So, no, he was able to thin it. Got a lot out of this. Good job, Gorst. It was never an easy safety. Oh, he's going to kick this way. Okay.
Yeah.
This is tough.
Yeah, got to have good speed. Nice hit. It's going to leave a shot, but nothing easy. So we're going to see that cueing. Just got to go forward if you can get past the 7.
Yeah, that thin. If you,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you're for sure going to bump the 7 here if you pocket this ball, and then it's just a matter of do you hit it thin enough that it leaves the 7.
Yeah, and the thing is, the 10's there. If the 10 wasn't there, okay, go into the 7, take your chances. Now you got to kind of get through it a little bit, like Mark said, making sure the cue ball continues forward. A little more than medium, I think. No, he smoothed it. Oh, he took advantage of the pocket a little bit there, Mark.
Yeah, I wish I would have mentioned it beforehand, because when you see a shot like that that's testy, and then you can see when the guy keeps his body and head still, because it's so easy missed. If you just wiggle, just a blink at the wrong time, you won't hit that pure. And you watch Gorst, he is just like a statue getting through that ball. It's so subtle. I show guys their video, and I say, you got to stay still. And then I did stay still, and then I show them the video. Okay, I thought I stayed still.
Well, the thing is, you know, if you have jerks in the swing, right, that promotes that movement a little bit as well. And FEDOR, of course, we all get quick at times, but overall pretty steady with the timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even that shot, the next shot, it's a part of a side pocket, and you got to jack up a little bit. It's missable. And he just executed 2 consecutive great shots. Now he's got the rack at his mercy here.
I don't know if I go beside the 9, the high side off the 2 rails. I might dig at this and kind of go at the 9 one rail. Not hard, but I don't think he's going to kill it. Yeah, like, see, I wouldn't have gone backside myself. I would have tried to go at it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, he's got to be disappointed as could be. He could have held that. I mean, he had to use a pretty long swing to get there. And like that stroke that Filler has, where he gets down low and bend that, I thought he should have stayed on this side and not even allowed this to even come into the equation here. Hard to second-guess the world champion, though. So I guess he knows what he's doing, but certainly disappointed.
Trying to kick it in, cross corner, maybe straight in, like that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Perfect shape. We'll see.
He's improved his kicking just since you said it.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Well, he just like his banking, he really uses kind of a split system on a lot of those one-railers.
Now, you get a good, fortunate hit like that. He made a great stroke, and he made good judgment, but still it worked out great. But now you have to cash it in, or it means nothing if you let this game slip away. So you can't lose your focus, just say, I got it.
Yeah, just like when you make a big mistake, you got to leave it behind. The great shots, you got to do the same. Turn the page and get on to the next. So now for a 3-0 lead and getting to the breaking end in game 4, FEDOR GORST.
We have one pocket 9-ball, bank pool, the Bigfoot. This is the only title that escapes
And I
Gorst.
saw a few people chatter
He's
out
won all the
there.
rest.
The shot clock brought to you by Billiards.
2 years in a row, he's been master of the table. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and that comes with a big prize. So this particular tournament is not. It does not affect the master of the table, but it kind of is like the players' championship. They know the guy that wins this tournament did something, and it's a great source of pride amongst the players, even though it's not recognized as one of the majors.
Yeah, well, like last year, you know, we all know it kind of turned into a long days here at the Derby, the last 3 or 4, and that's another thing that this guy covers all bases. You know, he stays in great shape, practices long hours as well, building his stamina and mental endurance, of course. So really no I not dotted or T not crossed with FEDOR GORST.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't have bad habits.
He doesn't drink very often. I've had a drink with him before.
But you know how some of them, I mean, you won't see him standing in the casino with 2 bottles of beer in his hand. No. During the event, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like me when I drink now. It's kind of like at the last night of the event's over, we all go out for a little bit, have a few drinks, you know, until the next time we get to see each other. And then for these guys, of course, it's back to business. But he does it right. You know, he schedules his time off. It's not like, oh, what am I going to do today? You know, kind of thing. You know, he schedules his vacation, his time away from the pool cue, and he's just he's really just a sharp young man. All right, odd 2-rail kick. Could go 1 rail. Nothing wrong with that. Now, they're getting a little more congestion early around the racking area than we've seen for the most part.
Yeah, they're not coming down tables much.
Yeah. Maybe getting a few more kisses. This should be not blast off, but have some speed.
Very good. Looks like he's got the combination, or he has the upper corner, but nothing's easy on any of this.
Treacherous combination. I think he puts him behind the 9, I think.
Yeah, you could also roll, and with pretty good control, too.
Maybe not. He's looking at the combo. So the key to this combo is know you're hitting the 9 full. Don't baby it so much. The 1's not going to go that far away, and you'll hit the ball better. You see how he put a little force on it? Mm-hmm. It's just, you know, a lot of times people want to ease those combos, and you lose a little accuracy. Yeah, I'd like to go that way as a righty myself, because you can put the 1 above the 5 here. Don't try to hold the 1 so much. You could thin it. But if you're willing to put the 1 above the 5, you can get the 3-rail angle to get behind the 6 and 10. If you edge it, you really can't get behind the 6 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a lot of spin. Looks like he's just going to edge it, though. No, he played the 1 above. That's correct.
He's coming back up in.
Yeah, he didn't get deep enough off the first one.
I think he's
but
okay.
Got there.
I think he's okay.
But again, he had double protection with the 1 above the 5 a little bit.
Yeah, doubling up on that long rail, kind of like a 1-pocket deal. That's quite effective.
Can't reach the 1-rail kick to the short rail, even as tall as Zielinski is. I like this path. He can hit behind it, slide towards the 5. He can do a few things here. Make the 5.
What a shot. What a shot.
All right, does he have a left-handed game here? Hard one to shoot with the bridge. Even lefties probably can't reach it, right? Maybe stretching over. I don't know. Okay, Mark, what do you do? I mean, naturally you're going at that pile. Do you add a little right here? I mean, you're not going to float it, I don't think.
I think if you cut this in, it escapes the 4-ball. I think you don't have to do anything. Oh,
yeah, he hit it quite thick to escape that 4-ball, but
yeah.
So not the start for Victor at the moment.
Now, this is a tough position here to play on the 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to come one rail above the 7 and take the cut. I think if you get involved with doing anything else, you could either miss if you tried to add a lot of right here. Could add a little right, though, but I think you might go at the 7 if you had right English.
And it takes a bunch of the pace out of the cue ball, too.
He is adding right.
He did.
Yeah, and he's going to go.
Did you say at the 7? Is that what you said?
That's what it looked like anyways, but that's why, again, just not going to improve a whole lot. Just get above it, take the cut, you know. So.
Forget the side spin. It didn't help.
But he could have hit the good side of the 7, right, and come over a little better.
And
so.
might have even been understanding that. I'm sure he was aware the 7 was there. I'm sure he knows enough about where the cue ball's going because it wasn't like he butchered the hit.
I'll tell you what, he's playing hard, but I feel like he's playing just even extra hard and making sure not giving up anything. I think that's mad respect for his opponent. Okay, he'd like to cross this as he kicks at it. That way the cue ball can run at about, a third of the ball. He's hitting down. I thought he hit a high ball here. Like that, though, is what you want. You want to come across that so you get a little separation. And Victor has not had much love here early.
I thought it was going to rub the rail and hang up there, but.
Well, talked about them pool gods after that missed 10 ball in rack number 2, and it's been a lot of FEDOR GORST too, but not a lot of luck on his side early.
GORST is pointing at something. I don't know if someone has a flash on their camera. Or...
Yeah, the little red light sometimes people aren't aware of.
Yeah. He's such a pleasant guy. I mean, my goodness, he's everything I wish Poole would be. Clean cut, hardworking, polite, respectful, proud.
I'll tell you what, he's pretty dang witty too. If you ever get to really hang around him,
yeah,
cracks me up. All right, one rail cross, not one you would shoot too often like this because he's coming into a little smaller zone, but did real well.
Boy, you had to get just by the 7, so close. Great shot.
This is a little awkward as well. He's
Very
got to
much.
creep into a little cut on the 6.
And that's why he's playing it from long range, not trying to get close to the 6, just trying to get on an angle for the 6 to give yourself a little bit bigger margin of error. So the cue ball will be just off the long rail there, over there by about where his chalk's at.
Yeah, you want to stay away from the second rail here, though, if you can. Meaning you might pick up speed. I'd like to just come one rail here myself. But, again, when you're close, it's a lot of preference.
Hit it rough.
But that's the
thing. He overcut it. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you go 2, it promotes more speed. It really does. So.
Well, he didn't hit the heart of the pocket.
No, I agree.
If he hits the heart of the pocket, now he's another 8 inches short. So.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely staggered on the way down.
Oh, 100%. I was watching it at the very top right of the pocket, but I still think the one rail, you just get to position real quick.
So.
Real quick with the one rail. So.
Yeah, and especially because he had to introduce side spin there to make that hit.
Yeah,
so.
And that means speed on the cue ball a little bit, and like you maybe miss the pocket a little more often. Now, he can beat the kiss here. Right English is kind of going into the kiss. You got to hit it really thin here to beat the kiss, Mark. Oh, nice shot.
How's the speed?
Yeah, still pretty good, leaving the distance.
Jacked up here. Because he's trying to stun stop. Nice hit. Oh, really well done. Jacked up. That distance to control the speed of the object ball. Really good. Yeah, this is a tricky little scenario here, Jeremy. What do you see?
About a third ball hit, you want to hit the 6 into the short rail, side rail. Let it go towards the 7 as the cue ball comes 2 rails casually behind the 8-10. You want to get the 6 away from the pocket. Oh, he went for the bank. That was a little surprising. Not saying it was the wrong shot. It just surprised me a little bit. Because his safeties have been really good. You know, so he's been on the mark.
I think it was just a little bit awkward is why he chose this. I like your idea, but that range and the angle wasn't maybe conducive, and he thought he'd rather go down shooting. This kid, what a straight shooter he is. He just glides him on in there. Nick Varner's sitting ringside, so is Tony Varner.
I haven't seen Tony in some time.
She's so sweet.
Oh, she's awesome.
I know. She makes Nick's business work. We're on the road all the time, and Nick calls her. She actually runs the thing. They use his name. You know?
A lot of people don't realize she was a really good player as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
She has that little fighting spirit. Well, this will be Zielinski's first win. 3-1 is our score now.
And
Nick and I are going down the road, and he's talking on the phone and selling cloth and cues and calling the shop. I'm driving. I think I should get like a 10% commission or something. I mean, he runs his empire from my passenger seat. You know, I'm over here.
Today's all about the money rounds and who makes it into the Final Four. Coming up at 7 o'clock, Alex Pagulayan, who
played
came
a lot of
all
golf
the way back
together
from
and just
trailing 9-4
out.
in his first matchup.
He loves
taking
that.
on Conrad Ushishin. That will
Took
be
me to
at
Rupp
7
Arena
o'clock
there
tonight.
when we were in Lexington
And
at
Conrad
Lexington All-Stars one
Ushishin in
year.
a tough match and defeated.
Got to go see Kentucky play that basketball there, and it was just a lot of fun. Fun guy. I'll tell you the funniest, of course he quit smoking, but whenever we played that World 9-Ball Championships when we roomed together there in Spain, we were waking up pretty early because the schedule for the World 9-Ball was like 9 a.m. matches, 10 a.m. matches, and I'd wake up and it'd be pitch dark, and all I'd see is that cherry and the cigarette glow, and start when he takes a drag. So, and it was just something I'll never forget. I know it's just a silly little story, but there's those 4 railers kind of tightening up again.
That's a quality break there.
Yeah. Well, that's more that pop break rather than kind of just slapping it a little bit. Now the 2's funny.
Sometimes Nick will be telling me a story while we're driving. He'll start cracking himself up so much that he can't get it out. And I want to hear what's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
He loves it. The biggest thing about him, I love his passion for the sport. It is still infectious. I mean, he hasn't lost it one bit.
Yeah, he's still, when he's a spectator, he still dissects it like he's, still playing.
Oh, definitely.
Great shot there, using the extreme right side of the 1 to open up the cue ball to get much better on the 2 than I anticipated. Now he's got a pretty easy combo.
And just what you said, I mean, he's looking at the way the table's playing. He's making judgments on the break. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's going to play the next set or something here.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just set into it.
All right, nice shot. Good speed. May have to go over beyond the 6 like that. So obviously the real telltale, no missing, can be afforded here, but position on the 5, that's the one. You got nice where you can get above it. But this
did.
Yeah, this is the funny one where you make sure you get a little pinch on the cue ball. Don't let it drift to somewhat straight.
It's that in-between stroke, too. It's like a half a sand wedge or something. It's kind of an odd. You got to stun it up a little bit, but then you got to preserve the angle coming off the rail.
He's looking to see about rolling and going into the 5.
Right. It's that awkward of a stroke is what I'm trying to describe.
When you're close to it, though, you should be able to handle it. Just get between the 9 and 10. That's the ideal. Oh, he went over straightish, so we'll see. If he gets dead straight, could be problems. The 6 is going to be demanding.
And that was why you were alluding to that you want to preserve the angle, but it's not an easy hit to make to get the stun, to get up. But then the speed correct. You got a lot going on there.
Yeah, now the good thing here, the And I think the difference in today's cloth versus when I started is shots like this. You can get a little more off the rail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for some reason, back in the day when you got straightish, now he was close to it, but a little more distance, you just said, okay, I got to shoot from right here somewhat. So that's
Definitely.
the one shot, the top inside, to me, is much more used in today's game than whenever I started.
But it was a heavier nap cloth that the spin would wear off unless you really pounded it, which meant you're going to miss the object ball, so we didn't.
Yeah. And the ball fizzle a little bit, like just kind of spin and not really have a lot of energy, it seemed like.
Well, it'll stay on the rail a while.
Yeah,
It won't come away from the rail very easy.
All right, let's see what he does with this 10. Take a little more time. And again, we talked about it yesterday. That's better. You don't have to fire them 10 balls in.
First breaking run out of the set. Zielinski now trails by 1.
After 5 games, it's FEDOR GORST leading by 1.
And this kid is a good shooter, though. He knows how to play, and he's not afraid to settle for a little longer position. Okay, Gorst breaking. It's 2 and the 4 in the corners. And it's the 5 and 7 right behind the 1. 7 ball and the 5 ball and the ugly kiss, Jeremy.
That's 2 of them.
That was not, that's not one that's on him. That's just misfortune there.
Yeah, kind of knocked the wind out of you a little bit.
Yeah, that hurts. You can't really hit him any better than he did. It's just that's what we're playing.
Yeah, really good. And 1, 2, and 3 groups. So getting position on the 4, you would suspect is going to be pretty easy. So one of the easier outs we've seen today. Didn't get a whole lot of angle here, but
when you have ball in hand here and you got to pound this, you didn't do good on your position on the first shot. And they were right there together. There was no excuse for having to do this.
okay, got a good one here. Good recovery. Now here, probably plays 2 rails.
It looks like it to me, too. I think you can just go straight top and just go 2 rails back to the center. He's queuing low. He's going to warp it. No, 2 rails. Okay.
Played for a lot of angle. And this is where, from that first 2 ball, get a little out of line. Didn't maybe get exactly where he wanted on the 3. So now this shot on the 4 is what you always say, how you hit the pocket. You could fall a little funny on the 6 behind it, a little straight, a little off angle. Or maybe not hit the pocket at all. Wow. I thought it was a lot of angle. Mark maybe made it a little missable.
He collapsed the upper arm, and he wasn't settled on his shot. There was indecision there. Boy, it was such he makes everything, and then all of a sudden, boop, right out of the middle of nowhere. That was such a routine shot. I'm not saying it was an easy shot, but it's just something we're so used to him handling effortlessly. Yeah. It's shocking when he misses it.
Yeah, FEDOR, of course, now when I'm working on being a full-time American, and of course, it's got to go a little bit. Yes, sir.
What a shot. Nice shot.
But he lives here full-time, permanent residency. But you kind of wonder with some of the guys how early they came in, because that jet lag is a real thing, that's for sure. And sometimes the Derby, with so much going on, hard to get your rest.
Well, you're playing nonstop. You got bank pool going on.
Well, there's so much to sweat, too, and so many friends, so many awesome people.
This is a pool festival. Vendors, and tip repair guys.
This is that dig shot you were talking about that you felt like he should have shot a few games ago, very similar, where he elected to go across and got behind the 9, I think it was. Kicked the 8 in, didn't he? I think. And came around for a position.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was like Bobby Thompson's home run, that kick in the 8 in that he did. The shot heard around the world.
Very deliberate there on the 8, taking nothing for granted.
No, he has that nice pause every time and glides back so smooth, transition, effortless, and then that enhances his speed control and accuracy.
The one thing that I express to other people when helping him, and when I bring up his name, which I bring up his name for several things actually, but he's trained himself because we're not always perfect with the backswing or the top of the transition and all that, but he makes sure he finishes. So even when the timing isn't good, he makes sure that right hand goes through. And what happens is when you're not good with the backswing or you're a little off with the transition, it makes you want to quit at the cue ball a lot of times. And the one saving grace you have is to make up for those mistakes is keep that cue moving through.
Yeah.
And he does that for sure. You'll never see him really stop at the cue ball.
So often when people have trepidation, nerves, anxiety, not confident, they end up poking and don't realize it. And I'll watch their, and I'll show them on the video. I say, look, the tip didn't even go a half inch past the cue ball. And, they say, oh, I didn't even know I meant to.
Yeah. What I see is the same thing when nerves are high or it means something to you, whatever may cause you to be a hair off with your blood flow. We try to control impact. And when you try to control impact, you have to essentially slow down to do that with the swing. And that happens to all of us. Actually, I think it's the number one flaw with the better players because they're not going to continually jerk the backswing. They're not going to, grip the cue real heavy, all that. But when nerves get high, even for those players, it seems like the one common denominator as far as a mistake is quitting at impact a little bit.
Yeah. Here's a great break. Cue ball
I
checks
don't know if he
center.
got the one or not.
Looks like he can twirl it.
Okay.
I think he may have to twirl it a little bit, but it's close to the pocket and at that speed. The only issue is that 5 ball blocking him on the 2.
Exactly right. Yeah, if you got to twirl it, depending on how much of the ball you hit, how much of the throw works, you may not get enough speed on the cue ball.
In order to...
Oh, he was easy.
No problem. Yeah.
He didn't have to really twirl it as much as just throw it in.
If you have to twirl it in, then the speed that you have to use is conducive to landing behind the 5. You can make the ball, but you can't get position.
Yeah, you may not even shoot at it, to be fair, if it laid that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I don't know if the 7, don't want to end up short here. It's not too bad, but I don't know if the 7 passes the 9. You can certainly see a little issue there. If it doesn't, he's perfect here to roll past the 4. That's not a problem. It's close. Yeah, you got there.
Well, the 7 is only partially impeded by the 9, which means if you get really good on the 7, it's not too bad. But it's hard to get really good on the 7 from clear down table. So, and if you get off angle, then it gets tough.
Man, pool's just an amazing sport. Major event like this, with so many great players and so many eyes on it and stuff. But just think about, you got the banks going on. You got the one pocket going on now that started today. Some of these players are still in the Bigfoot, so they really got to switch gears incredibly here at the Derby and to be successful.
That pass shot there, it was just a stun shot to the end rail, but boy, did he ever have some care to put, he wanted to make sure he had this angle to allow himself to either get close or rounded.
Short side, I think.
Yeah.
Got to go just a touch, just to make the 8 a little easier. Okay, he's all right. He can hold it. Hold the 8 up long. Tell you what, I kind of feel like he's batting down the hatches a little bit as far as his tempo around the table. Doesn't seem as very rushed at all.
Oh, he couldn't have played that previous shot position, the transfer 2 cushions down there on that ball. Couldn't have been any better.
Looking to where he can reach it. May have to roll forward just a touch. Well, he's going to go ahead and draw back for it.
And as the 10 ball hits the pocket, that brings us within one game here. Zielinski trails 3 games to 4.
4 games to 3 as we head into rack 8. And Gorst will have the break. And the winner of this match will meet Joshua Filler tomorrow afternoon to decide who moves on to the championship.
The 2 and the 5 are the balls that go 4 rails. It's the 4 and the 7 are the balls that find the side pocket. Gorst has twice been kissed in out of the middle of the table for no reason but misfortune.
A little at the top. Not badly, obviously, but
Something went in, I think.
yeah, he made a ball on the side. It's the 4 ball, I believe.
Didn't get a shot. This was kind of the story of Van Boning's loss last night. He make a ball and then have to skirmish to get a shot, and Lee Van win the battle. Shea would lock him down, Lee Van would hit it, and then leave Shane tough, and then Shane would hit it and leave Lee Van a shot, and he'd run out.
Yeah, I'd like to move the 2 here myself, actually. And that's only because later on you figure to be snookered or maybe have to return something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you move, if you can move the 2 where it's not so easy, it'll open up doors for you when you're in a bad spot to where you might be able to play a mild safety a little bit, something without the snooker, but knowing they can't get shape. That's maybe in the gap. It's close. I think he's snookered.
Got a lot of action yet today to come, too. 7 p.m. match and a 9:30 match follows this.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 players are Filipino, I believe, right? Alex, Roberto, and Lee Van. I'm surprised Rolando wasn't in this year. He's really played well on this 10-footer and incredible player. I actually didn't even know if he was here when I saw he wasn't on the 10-foot challenge, but I did see him yesterday.
Me too, I saw him. Rolando Garcia is who Jeremy's talking about.
He's such a great player. It's amazing.
Pure killer.
I mean, like, you know, he's another one of those quiet guys, so you just can easily forget about him until you watch him play a little while, and then you're like, he's just, I think, very underrated at times. Not very underrated, but he's right there with these guys, I think.
He's quietly a fantastic player. Good shot.
Yeah, I think he used that 2 ball by design. Playing the 1 off the 2. All right, needs to get fairly tidy here on the 5. Get back for the 6. Looks good enough.
Like to come back, just, you know, maybe just a pass to where he's at right now, just a flicker or even back to where he was. That's going to be about excellent.
You may fall behind this just a hair. Could fall straight and follow forward for the 8 and the side with the 9 pretty accessible, but you would think you'd want to slide over. This will do.
Yeah, that felt real nice because now the speed's conducive to come across one rail and just let it trickle back to the center. Or you could hold it. You didn't even have to come across. So. Perfect.
Yeah, well, I think today's players, Mark, because they grew up on Simonis, I think that hold shot is just brought into play a little earlier in their career, a little more often. There's a little more you can do with it on the Simonis, I feel like, than you could, on the older felt. And so you and I, of course, we played on the slower stuff, and that hold shot was a little tougher to keep the spin on the ball and really have it check, so
yes,
you usually move the ball over to the rail a little more.
The anytime you can minimize the cue ball travel, and especially on a big table like this, the more sure your position play will be.
Yeah, and the key to that kill shot is not letting up. If you have to let up, go ahead and let it move over. But, he got through the ball nicely, and this is going to track to the rail. Never the most friendly feeling when the cue ball gets a little behind the money ball.
Now, the thought that you can't have here is don't miss it. You have to just make a good stroke, get through it. He glides it right on in there. We're all tied up at 4 games apiece. And while they're racking, Jim Comley, I'm going to ask Jeremy your question. Give him a chance. This is a genuine question from a guy that truly loves pool. Could you try to explain the finish and the timing as to how they work together on a shot, or add some clarity to that?
The finish and the timing?
We're talking about the timing and getting through the stroke and the finish to the stroke.
Well, and I think in our sport, in most sports, they're always trying to get the most out of the swing, right? But our sport, we can still use more of an effortless motion, like golf, for instance. They're always trying to hit it further, right? So they'll really stress technique to try and get that speed. Same thing, baseball, football. They're trying to hit the ball further, throw the ball harder, or whatnot. But in our sport, I think effortless is still there. So what I'm getting at is, if you can learn a mild transition to where you don't jerk at the top, the human body wants to accelerate. That's just naturally what it wants to do. So if you just imagine you're building momentum on the way down with the swing as you accelerate, unless you're trying to stop the cue, it wants to keep going through because it's gaining momentum. So a lot of people, again, try to control impact a little bit. Instead of understanding, just let the swing continue. There'll always be power, less deflection, because your stroke's always quieter than your hand is at impact. If you're a hitter, you're hitting right English, you're going to deflect more than I do because you're stressing impact a little bit with the right hand.
And little subtle things like squeeze or getting, when we want to get power up, we want to get it right away. No, you have to build it up and go through the cue ball. I think maybe that's...
and the thing is, you need a mild start at the top. Otherwise you're forcing the acceleration. And why do most people hit at the ball? Because they start quickly at the top. Yeah. And then you end up slowing down, trying to get the speed right, and then you have no power, so you add a hit with the backhand, so... But there's a lot of reasons why things happen. That's why I think diagnosing a player is the biggest part of teaching, really.
Good break there and a nice opening shot for this round. And the man that asked this has actually been playing much better pool in recent times, so he's become far more of a student than he ever used to be.
Hey, do you shoot the 4 and open the 7-10 with the 5 hanging here? I mean, the 7's really rough.
Well, this is the only time, unless you want to try to make a wild transfer from the end, so this would be the most conducive time, and you can go right at the 10 ball here. You don't have to hit the 7.
Yeah, the center of the table's wide open. And again, you don't have to crush it. Just a nice rolling ball, the hair of right English. Oh, he's stunned more. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. And again, a little preference.
Boy, that took care of everything there.
And it's starting to look like, he's been at the table more, but he's getting into his routine a little more from shot to shot. At least that's what I'm seeing. And caught a little thick to the pocket, cost him a little cue ball.
This doesn't bother him at all. He's used to this, I think. Some guy stress over getting another foot closer. I don't think is bothered at all. Just glad to have an object ball out there where he can shoot at it.
Well, these two are prime examples of, somewhat of the subject that we had the question on, right? Watch Zielinski really gets through the ball nicely. And the one thing is, when you're swinging medium, a little more than medium or whatever, right? You're going to build momentum on the acceleration to where the cue does want to keep going. The one you really have to train are the lighter accelerations where you don't create as much momentum to train the hand to keep going through a little bit more. That's what both these guys do really well.
Well, the second break and run out of the set for Zielinski, and that gives him the lead at 5-4. One time, many years ago, my first time to see Gorst was here when he was 16. It was astounding how well he played. Then 17 he comes, astounding. I'm saying, how in the heck are you guys, what's the deal, you kids? And Max Dudenitz was here with them, and there's others too. And he said, and not in a gratuitous, insincere way, that they play a juniors thing, a juniors program in Northern Europe. And he said over 100 kids come each month. And then he said this in the most matter-of-fact tone and not talking about himself. There's 5 or 6 guys that are going to be a world champion. Mm-hmm. And then, but Zielinski's one of these guys that I know of. And, and here we are, 4 or 5 years later, doggone, on the fast track to a world championship, 4 or 5 of these guys. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really fascinating to hear him and explain it. I'd never heard of such a thing.
Well, I was telling you about Vladimir that owns the Baza where Fedor played in Moscow, and what a beautiful pool room. But, he never charged pool time. I told you that since he opened the doors. And that's both pool rooms he owned, the one in St. Pete as well. Another beautiful place. St. Petersburg, Russia, of course. But what I was going to get at is, he went as far as to have Diamond make some tables with the legs half the size. And cost him a pretty penny to have made and shipped over there and whatnot, just for the juniors, to where they don't have to use a box or a crate or something or get out of form, right? I think that legs were almost half the size, I think, is what it was. So when you have people that are carrying and trying to put you in good spots, that helps a lot. And there's a lot of people around America trying to do that as well. All right, a little funny. He knows he wants to get on the 4 pretty nicely to get to the 5 without having to involve the 7-10. So he can handle a little on the 4, but probably doesn't want to be miles away from it. So I got to go a little bit, a little flattish. He can go forward, Mark, with inside, 2 rails.
Yes, looks like it, from my vantage point, looks like he can just come on the inside of the 8 here, come around.
Could draw it.
High
maybe.
Right. Or high left, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Doesn't want to be too short. He can handle a little angle to draw over, but doesn't want to be too short on this. This is going to be really nice. Now he can stun over for the 5 in the same pocket. Discussing a few other things, but Zielinski got his first lead at 5-4. Nice to stay off the rail there. Could handle the rail, but still very good.
Yes, if I could get Jim Comley to have that nice transition like Gorst does, his consistency rate would just skyrocket.
Well, there's other things to set you up to have a better transition. It's just got to talk a little more about the takeaway and a few things prior to that backswing. But a lot of people, it's not their fault. They really don't set it up to have success.
You got to have the clearance in your stance to be able to flow. Otherwise, you run into your ribs, and then that distorts everything. Your head lifts, the elbow goes out or down, or wrist twists.
Yeah.
So, and Gorst does have great clearance in his stance.
Well, he's pretty atypical as far as, everything lined up. A lot of us don't have the attention when we first start from someone to get us lined up a little more, but then also your eyes have a big play on your grip, in my opinion. Like, no coincidence, I cup the cue pretty well, very left eye dominant. Alvin Ocean cups the cue a lot, very left eye dominant. So I think the grip gets a little manipulated by the eyes at times. 50-50 here.
He's definitely disappointed. I like it. He goes and he takes some powder, rubs it on his chin, so the cue glides by there. So if you ever look at Gorst's chin during competition, you will see a little white mark on his chin where the cue kind of comes across it. Most of us powder up the shaft. Gorst powders up the chin.
I'm trying to visualize what the comfortable speed is. I assume a high ball, maybe 4 rails, a little past the head string, something like that.
Rather miss it overcutting it rather than undercutting it.
Oh, you hit it really sweet.
Oh, we got a match here.
Nice breaking run out.
All tied up, halfway through.
Yeah, when Gorst told me that, I guess it was 2017, let's see, about. Nice TPA there, 900 and 899, just what we expect. But anyway, he's talking about that youth movement, and then here we are. And you know some of the other kids coming over here that play close to Zielinski type speed.
Well, I mean, the Polish kids, there's a few of those. And, I think Spain's going to really have a flow of players here soon that we're going to have some new names. A lot, really. I mean,
if we had a youth program like that over here ongoing, that many years, we start to be seeing some.
Oh, absolutely.
Super talent.
I still think there's more talent here. I just think I don't see how there couldn't be, really. More pool rooms, more access.
Next up, our next match will be Pagulayan versus Konrad Yasheshin, Polish straight shooter. And then our last match is Levan Corteza versus Roberto Gomez.
And halfway home for both players. Getting a little more pop on that cue ball.
Boy, look at this break.
Yeah. And the 10-foot, we always talk about the first shot after the break. Of course, 10 ball, you get a lot of those shots because the one track's towards the corner. But where that second ball is makes a huge difference. In the last few racks, it's been pretty decent for Victor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as your opponent of Victor, you always look at, boy, now I got to count on him making an unforced error.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that comforting. Guy didn't miss for a week straight. Got to hope he messes something up here.
Got a little awkward here just because he's straight. Drawing behind it, he could do that, cheat in the pocket a little bit. Could go rail first into the 8, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the draw is usually what they choose.
Stay away from trouble, right?
He miscued.
Yeah,
Now he is in trouble, and this is the first step to an unforced error for Gorst.
Yeah, well, remember, it was, I think, Zielinski that miscued, and then you and I talked about the miscue when he was stretched in that first round match.
Yeah.
He went straight over the object ball into the corner pocket. Here he's got to really demand the speed, or command the speed, excuse me, because he's going to be floating close to on top of this 5.
Good recovery here.
Too much.
Too hard. Okay.
And you're always worried about a little kick on the object ball. If you hit a little lighter, it gets you into the ball a little bit more. And that was just a very tough task right there for Victor. Wasn't easy.
Now he's just hoping to be able to see the edge of the 5. It looks like he's down, scrutinizing it.
Well, if he can, he's got action to maybe get behind the 6-8. maybe. I don't know if he can hit it hard enough to get to the 5 to the rail or not, the bottom rail. Yeah, that's what I thought. He had to just leave him long is what he was hoping.
Okay, here's the unforced error opportunity.
And it really started with the first shot on the 1, not getting that proper little angle on the 2. I mean, it was really a cupcake shot on the 1. No reason not to get, a little angle, making things easy. Which we talked about that with Victor a couple times in his first match. I don't know if you remember, he had ball in hand. He decided to draw the ball instead of following it and got himself out of line on the first ball and eventually ended up making a mistake later in the rack. What's that called, Mark? Growing pains?
Yeah, youthful recklessness. And, the last 2 international opens, which are ostensibly a world championship, he's had deep runs. I think he finished top 4 in both of those, and that's pure elite killer fields.
Moving right along in the banks. I think it's going to probably be by the end of the day, maybe around 7 or so, maybe 8.
That's the issue here. There's so much going on, and you get spread so thin. I see a lot of, when I look out there, there's Van Boning playing. Yesterday was Paguline playing Tyler Steyer. I'm over here broadcasting, but kind of half looking out like.
Makes you want to play too, Mark, or at least me.
Oh,
I know
of
that.
course. If you're not inspired by this, then there's no hope.
Looking for a game, folks, later on. Little 1 pocket.
Little 1 pocket.
Pocket apiece. 2 rails, one of his best shots. One he definitely spends a lot of time every day on, variations of. As you should. Little in between here, could kind of go the soft side and stay there. Could put a little check coming across. And again, when you get a little closer like this one's not too far away, it's a little more preference. The standard way to shoot balls really is when you get a little more distance, Mark. You have to have certain ways to shoot the ball because distance hampers you. But like I said, when you're a little closer, it's a lot more of what you like because accuracy is at a premium.
All right, 6-5. Gorst got 2 miserable kisses off the break that cost games, and then Zielinski missed a 10 ball, and then here he had an open layout.
Thank just a couple of our sponsors that includes Q-Tech, performance you can feel.
Yeah, and
also Men's Q's, Ignite Your Limits.
it's still a little bit of a mystery on the miscue and stuff, but as far as why that happens, I mean, there's some obvious reasons why, but there's, I think, a lot of different ways to miscue and a lot of different reasons why it happens.
Here you see him going to work on his tip.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always found was that the laminated tips with those glued edges, and I miscued more with them. I just think there's more glue when you spin exposed, and the chalk doesn't bite as good. I keep going back to a one-piece tip. I just play the La Pro at the end of the day and find a good one.
Yeah, I play with a soaked and pressed Elkmaster pretty much. So. Been playing with those since '99, actually. Tried some of the layered tips because that's about when they started to come around, I believe, around the millennium. So a little bit before, maybe.
Okay, Gorst breaking now.
Got a huge game here late at 6-5 and breaking.
Good, yeah.
He's like, please don't kiss the cue ball. All right.
Not much here.
Shot. Yeah.
Yeah, not much here.
Awkward, awkward, awkward. Well, the kiss hurt him again. The old cue ball would have definitely been down here with the one somewhat. Even if he elected to play safe, the accuracy would have been really good. Don't think he can shoot at this, really. I mean, you could kind of let it go, I guess, but Inside, don't like it. Outside, don't like it.
Right.
Straight doesn't look much better.
No.
Unless he were to just float it.
I think he's floating the 1 over on top of the 2. No, he's doing something bigger than that. He's going thin, back cutting this.
He wanted to get a little less. He's going to get a little fortunate with the 1 hitting the point and going, taking a turn and going back the other direction. I did like the shot, though. Just maybe a little lighter speed to let the right English kind of throw the 1 a little more. You get a little deeper. Victor's looking to knock this in. If it goes by the 6, maybe.
I was kind of thinking super light rail first, just before the side pocket, try to just tickle the cue ball up onto the 6. Look at this shot. He didn't play it, folks, but he did make it. Looked like he played it.
Hit the heart of the pocket.
Yeah.
A rare fluke on a shot like that. He's looking at the tip again. He didn't miscue there. He was just leveled out, I thought.
I didn't think he did.
Is this cue ball going towards that 4? It's close. I mean, it's not the kind of shot you want to roll at, and then you're jacked up a little bit over the balls. And if you put a little speed, you might go at the 4. And I think the cue ball was really on his mind there, where that cue ball was going. Pretty close to it, Mark. Can he kill it? A little low inside, maybe?
Yeah, I think he can manage that coming over across for the 2. It's just a thin hit. But just what you said,
he's banking it.
He's banking it?
Yeah, you can cut this and kill it. I'm almost 100% you can, but maybe not. Hard to doubt him, but now the one thing is he really feels like it's not going to hang. So is he going to draw between the 3-7 here?
Great shot. Great shot.
But in the speed he plays it, right, it's just it can hit the pocket a few different ways and it's still gonna go in, I think.
A little more difficulty with the bank. Maybe led the position. The risk-reward analysis was such that this has justified to bank this, because I think he could have cut it had he chosen, but the position play was going to be far more awkward.
No, he's a pretty confident banker as well.
Yeah, he's won this twice, right?
Yeah, especially in this building. Yeah, one of the shots he really excels at, stunning forward without rolling the ball, like a stun, just a couple inches. Could come back, but then that would put the 10 in play, trying to get from the 4 to the 6. So I believe if the 10 wasn't there, he would come backwards with the cue ball. So good at that shot. I know it looks routine, but he makes it look routine. But I mean, even the ones that are way more difficult from much further distances, he's just commands it really well.
Like to have a nice position play here. That would set up the whole rest of the rack to play very routine, but this is not that easy because you're kind of coming into the narrow window.
I don't think I'd try to get to the second rail here. Now the 10-footer does open up to where you have a little more space. So he's going to try and check it. I think he is going to try and get to the second rail. I probably just float 1 rail. Oh, he's just floating. Yeah, that's a smart play.
And that's the nice position too. That's really good from where he was at.
Like you say, if you hit the pocket a little off, right? You force that second rail, well, that side pocket could come into play. If you get a little kick on the object ball, it could come into play. So he took all the negative possibilities. He took that away by just coming 1 rail.
Yeah, he knows this is a big game in this set.
Huge.
Everything he can to capture it. Love his intensity and the focus he applies.
And the reason why he came back for the side, right, is so he could let the stroke out a little bit. That ball's on the rail, near the rail. You don't want to be kind of like
floating it where it grabs the rail and bounces away.
Or any chance of letting up.
Yeah.
If you try to shoot that lighter one, you can let up a little bit and miss the ball. get on top of the 7 maybe. But
Yeah. You know, when you let up like that, there was a term back in the Madison when I was growing up, and you Wilsoned it. That was like a month's into it.
yeah, I get it.
Because I used to decelerate, trying so hard to hold that thing, and rather than what he did there, that's the smart way. Then you get through it. And if I would have chosen that speed, I would have been able to make it. But instead, I hung mine trying to
He
guide
did
it perfect.
He did it a little while. We all did, right? You got to learn that. So,
Yeah.
a little player break.
Our next match yesterday, Pagulian did not play very well and ended up going hill. But I expect a much better performance today. That was a real unusual match. Neither player played that well. His TPA in winning was 714.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah. I mean,
definitely substandard. Oh, I definitely know.
It's a scrappy
table,
match, here and there.
people are so spoiled and used to just seeing perfection, not realize 4 1/4 inch pockets 5x10 they never play on, and then you start to second guess yourself. You can crumble.
Well, and there's no coincidence that it's two veterans that happened to, and what I mean by that is if you get a Zielinski, right? Mm-hmm. He just almost hasn't gone through those enough of those scrappy matches to really let it weigh on him, and those guys have, and when you've gone through it already, it's not like you're reflecting on it, but it's just kind of in the back of that head a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
and you never get that chance. If the other guy plays good, you don't know how bad you actually played because
Yeah.
he runs out so many times. Where when both guys struggle, now you could really look terrible.
oh, beauty. Oh, the 8 went long. I thought it was all right. The 5's going to cover up the 1 a little bit. Probably, unless he's a little cut off, you'll still see him probably try to do something with this 1 maybe. Maybe bank it 2 rails underneath, in between the 6-4, and kind of bump the 5, go into the 5-1 rail, maybe? I don't know.
He definitely got his mind made up on what he's playing. So.
Yeah, he kind of sizes these up a little bit, though. See the angle he's doing right there?
Yeah.
Now, he can try and do it with a lot of speed and get it around, or he can try and hit it mildly between those 2 balls and try and bump the 5 with the cue ball. I think he's going to go with the firm one. Watch out for the loop on the cue ball here. Oh, he got the 5.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question to you, and I should have asked this really to the other referee, but you know how they always say you can't let go of your cue if you're measuring a shot, you can't let your hand off of it. What difference does that make? I never understand that.
Yeah, I guess once it comes out of the hand, it becomes more of a device, maybe.
Okay.
But I kind of wish we couldn't touch the felt with the cue, with the tip. You know how some guys put the tip down?
Yeah. I mean, like it leaves a little chalk residue, possibly.
Yeah,
Okay,
Johnny used to get called out for that quite a bit because he'd put a mark right in front of the object ball a lot of times when he was doing his aiming and sometimes position as well. And a few players back in the day really felt like there was something to it, and I couldn't argue it really. And so, but yeah, I don't like the being able to put the tip down so much myself, but.
I don't object to the rule, but I just didn't understand why the rule is all.
The one as far as leaving the cue, I think just because it made it more cut and dry. You know what I mean? Like if you have it in your hand, a guy could accuse you of maybe trying to mark or measure or whatever, but how could he really say for sure that's the case, right? Yeah. So when it leaves your hand and it's on the table like that, I think they're just saying, you're definitely using it in some manner, right?
Okay, yeah. I just never had anyone explain to me. I hear the rule and I observe
I'm guessing,
the rule.
Mark, really.
But they're usually so adamant, like you really gain a benefit. I couldn't even consider it. Heck, and I could even see me possibly laying my cue on the rail to get down and get the bridge. I could even see me doing that possibly, but.
Well, back whenever I first started playing, of course, I immediately started gambling. That was one of the fascinating things about it. But we had a player back home who was a referee at a lot of these BCA events back in the day, and a pretty good player. But you know how you get the cue ball, right? Mm-hmm. And you move it when you have ball in hand. You'll set it down and move it with your shaft. And we're in there playing $5, $10 pool, and we're all know each other, whatnot. A little shy here. So he's going to have to work the cue ball. But anyways, he'd call foul on you quickly if when you were moving it, any piece of that leather touched that tip, you know. And finally, we convinced him not to quit doing that, you know, with all of us. So. Oh, he's going to play the corner instead. Doesn't want to take the one rail route between the 9 and 10. Don't blame him.
Good shot, smooth.
He's off angle though. He can stun up to the center and take the cut, or he can draw the cue ball. Maybe with low left, that would be. Oh, he can stun all the way to there. Okay.
I think he has a hint more angle. Well, you never.
He's got
know,
angle. I'm
here,
right on
yeah.
it, but I guess he can generate.
He's
enough.
drawing. No stunning.
Yeah.
Wow, he got a lot out of that. Good job.
3 rails ish.
Skidded, didn't it? No?
I turned my head actually.
Did he kind of flicker? Okay.
I turned my head. I mean,
He either moved his, I don't know if we get a replay of that one, but either he moved his shoulders or the ball skidded. Something happened weird there.
well, he turned his hand like
It
it
was-
was twisted. So
After such, yeah, it probably did, because after such a good run, and right when it took off, it did look like it twisted funny. So
well, behind the ball, that's why none of us like it, right? It does create some what seems like different contact than from above. Sometimes, I'm saying.
yeah,
And of course, I'm not going to go into the skid topic. I had that one time before, and there's like, again 2 or 3 different ways I think that make skid happen.
well, it does happen no matter
yeah.
what.
Oh yeah,
For whatever reason.
100% it does. Yeah.
And it looked like the ball might have twisted off that cue ball that time, kind of weird. But these good chalks, it's not supposed to do that very often either, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's going to be 8-5. Yeah, huge game. Zielinski runs out like he looked like he was going to. Now it's 7-6 instead of 8-5.
And the lead's
Gorst
extended
breaking.
now, 3 games, 8-5. And Gorst will have the break.
I look forward to this every year. I just can't wait. You know, if you say, Mark, you got to go home after the Shaw Gorst match, I'd still be okay. You know, it was like, okay, I saw a heck of a thing there. Look at these crowds. Every year we get bigger crowds, and this is early stages of the Derby City. We've had full arenas here.
Yeah, well, pool's definitely growing, and again, the fans have wanted pool to grow so much. They're there to support it. I mean, that's what they want to do. You know, they want it as much as the players. Really, I believe that. And I also believe ever since pandemic, and I've seen this in many events, not pool events, you know, concerts, whatever. It seems like everything's more packed. Seems like everyone realized during that pandemic how, you know, I ain't going to waste any time. I'm going to go to something if I feel like going to it, because you never know, right? So
No, that's right. 9 and the 7 on the corners. Those are the 4-railers. The 8 and 6 are the balls that go in the side.
yeah, and he flies it almost all the way to the headstream.
8 to 2 then. Yeah, I see better now. 2 balls tracking. 2 ball found the side. Cue ball's rattling around. There's the 1. 9's in the way.
Yeah, it's okay though.
It's not great though, because the cue ball's tracking away. But maybe it's controllable. Okay.
When you're close to it again, you can really hold the ball. Cue ball one ball should have a little follow on it with this draw stroke. So the key here.
Or you think he's going to? I thought he would float forward on this.
Oh, I thought he'd draw and play the combo. He's going to go ahead and play the safety, taking no chances.
No, I don't blame him.
No, not at all.
It's dangerous if you can pin him down. Okay, so the combination just too taxing compared to what the result of this would be. He did a mental risk-reward analysis and chose this shot, and it looks great to me. A lot of pressure on Zielinski here.
I don't know if I'd kick hard. I'd try to kick 2 rails medium and let the one lay up on the side rail. I'm trying to advance my shot. You know what I mean?
Still
like get
needs a
another
rail.
shot.
Still
Yeah.
needs a rail. Still needs a rail. Didn't get a rail. And sportsmanlike, he calls a foul on himself.
And the 3, ball in hand on the 1, getting on the 3, which is pretty necessary to get good on the 4. And past that, you can see 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 9 on this end. So it should be Gorst to the heel.
And this is, you know, it sounds remedial, but it's not. When you have ball in hand, you have to get 3 balls off the table. But it's amazing, even with pros, how few times. I'm giving you 1. Now, if he gets a good angle here, which he didn't, okay, but if he does, and he gets that 4 and gets comfortable on the 5, the rest of them, they kind of play themselves. There's not much more. But this first 3, boy, you got to knock them down for sure. And then if you have to play safe or whatever. But you got to work harder to make sure you get 3 with ball in hand.
Yeah, and he made sure he got to at least straight or past it because he knew he had a lot of angle or a lot of options here with this angle to go to the rail and then up. So.
Right. He can easily recover. Well, not necessarily easy, but he can recover without having to do
You can do inside or outside here, depending on what the angle is telling you. You can come 1 rail or 2. Play the 4 in the corner.
Good shot. Oh, perfect. We're right back in line.
And now he's gotten good to where he doesn't have to deal with the 10 at all when shooting the 5. 6 is just a stop shot to hold for the 7 in the side to carry you down on the 9.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Once you get 3, then you kind of got momentum, and then you can make a little shot or something. But you got to do good with cue ball in hand to get that first ball and then the second one.
Yeah, less congestion already because you knocked 3 of them off, and so everything starts to open up. The thing, if you want to improve, is just make sure when that finish line, finishing the rack, like you can see it's there. Don't lose focus. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fall over the finish line. You still have to play position even on the last ball with your cue ball, and I think that's what happened to Zielinski when he missed the 10. He kind of thought, well, this is the winning ball, just knock it in, rather than do it like he did all the other shots where he played position, got through the stroke. Because that was a big 10 ball he missed.
Second
early.
game, it was huge. He made a beautiful out as well. I mean, a really quality out.
Then later in this match, he broke and ran out to the 10 again, too, right? Isn't it?
The 7, wasn't it? With
Was it the 7?
When it had the kick there? That was
No,
a huge
not
game.
that one. I'm saying he had a... No, that was the first one. Yeah, he broke and ran out to that 10 that he missed. Okay, yeah. These games kind of run together here. They put Jeremy and I in this box, and we're here for hours. But we love it. And it is fun.
I'm trying to decide. He's coming across the course, and again, when you're close, there's a lot of choice. But go ahead and roll your ball. Why not come across? I wouldn't use the second rail myself, but he did.
And to be fair, you might have, because the angle might have been a hair thinner.
Yeah,
when you're
at the
down there,
table.
we're 30 feet away,
yeah.
so I wouldn't say he was right or wrong. We're going to go with whatever he does, and you would have probably played it this way yourself.
Yeah, and either way, you can't label right or wrong. It's, again, when you're close to the ball, there's preference.
Well, the reason they want to go 2 rails is to take laying on the rail. They just don't want the cue ball to end up on the rail, so they try to purposely take it out of there by getting to the second rail for sure.
Yeah, and you never end up short. That's for sure. Perfect speed here. Gorst will get to number 9. Zielinski will break in the next.
First to the hill, Zielinski will have the break. Heading into rack 15.
Probably still working as well, right? Seemed like a workaholic back in the day.
Well, I don't know him at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You would if you saw him, because he looked exactly like Nick without the curly hair.
Oh, Nick Varner's dad looked just like Nick.
Yeah, I did meet him once, I think, too.
Oh, he used to come to every tournament.
Yeah, I think. We were talking just for a moment about Steve, Nick's brother. Great guy, loves pool. Got that same accent.
Oh, yeah.
Same laugh, same smile pretty much. Little miss hit there. Little off with the hit on the 1, and
Oh, boy.
it's going to hurt a little bit.
A 1-6 combo here to get things started. It does require a good hit.
Yes, it does. And you can see he's breaking from the left, and he crossed it over. And you can see he's not really hitting the rack to where he's flying that cue ball way back there. So anytime you cross it over, not only don't get the balls tracking exactly how you want, but that's where that scratch can come in. And I'll tell you, I think he floats it-ish, but he might put a little more speed on this than we imagine. We'll see.
Might even use a little left English to control the speed of the cue ball so it widens it out.
Absolutely.
I don't think he used the English. I think he used the draw to widen it out.
He had a little
Did he?
left. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, nevertheless, he
And
got
an
to
interesting way he shot it, really.
the wide place. Yeah. Now, this rack lays pretty open here. There's not a whole lot more to negotiate other than stay on angle.
Yeah, he's only really going to need any kind of real speed or a little bit of power just from the 3 to the 4, really, and that ain't going to be much.
No, it's an easy travel because the 4's up. It's not like it's on the end rail, so
Yeah.
he's got a lot of, I mean, you even have room for error with this run out.
Yeah, it looks like he has a hint of an angle. He can go forward and wrap the corner or maybe come up that side rail a little bit, trying to get a little angle on the 3. That way he stays away from the 7, 8, 5 and all that. Could get behind the 3 to run the cue ball around those 4 balls, that being this 5, 7, 8, 10. I kind of like being over by the 9 a little bit more myself, but we'll see. He's stunning over. He's wanting to get that other angle to run around the rack.
Looks like he got it, too.
Yeah.
Now, this is quite a bit of travel now. He has to make sure he at least gets past the center of the table.
Yeah, and he's coming a little more across the line because he can't come in tighter
Right.
because of the 5, 7, 8.
Exactly
So
right.
that's why I thought he might go forward up the left side
Yeah,
of the
I did
table
too.
and just play real open. But this is okay. The main thing here is, again, just trust it's going to get there. That way you're rolling into position. That's going to have to go a little, I think.
Oh, I think he's going to be good. Filter, filter, filter. Wouldn't have minded another 6 inches, but should be good.
Yeah. I think he just announced extension. Well, he's toying with his extension.
Something's happening. Yeah, he's not going on there the way.
Yeah, easy to with threads because his has threads on it. So harder shot. I think he's trying to improve on a little bit. A rolling ball with spin. You know, a lot of times he'll play that little stun with a hair spin to get the angle going. Where here he's stretched and it could get a little hot on him because he's a little thin. So
Yeah, we've seen guys stretch way out, chunk the ball, and hit it way fat.
well, you put more weight on the cue and you hit right spin, you gotta realize it deflects a little bit more. And I've done that a ton with the extension. See how he's playing it with spin and a rolling ball?
Mm-hmm.
That's the shot I think he wants to get a lot better at. Now that one, was fairly routine, but there's some that come up every now and again that are very demanding. Efren was, of course, the best at it.
Yes.
Ralph Souquet made a real good living with that rolling ball as well. And your buddy Nick Varner.
Just don't come up short on this position play. He didn't.
Well, Zielinski just had a couple early ones. Started to really play well, and then the skid or miss or kick or whatever on the 7 just a few games ago, and FEDOR GORST kind of shut the door. Come around the 10 if you want. It's up to you. Like that.
Well, this has been a really fun match. A lot of turnovers of the things to talk about, events that happened in this match. Hard and fought. And of course, moves on. That's a $4,000 win right there. He'll be in the running tomorrow for $8,000 or $16,000 prize. We'll be back at 7 p.m. This has been ACCUSTATS video production, the worldwide leader in billiards programming. That is our time for this time. Until next time, so long.
Some great matchups for you. We have the Lion out.